A paint drip splatters and runs, revealing a series of images. A woman playing violin, then in a bright pink costume, then in a blind skier penny atop a mountain. The drip finally lands, revealing text in print and braille. Unsightly Opinions.
Hi, welcome to Unsightly Opinions. My name's Tamara. Today we are going to be talking about fatigue life hacks. This is not a video anyone asked for, but it's the one I need to make to remind myself how to manage my life effectively. When you have a disability, it can oftentimes take more energy to do the things that you want to do. It requires more planning, it requires more time, and it can be more exhausting. So fatigue is a common issue in the disability community. In addition, if you have other health conditions like myself, other disabilities, it can compound into chronic fatigue. So today I want to talk about the best ways you can help manage your fatigue, whether it's a medical fatigue, a disability fatigue, or just a general fatigue, and help fight burnout that you might be experiencing because of how much effort you're putting into just managing your life. So without further ado, let's dive into my favorite fatigue life hacks. Number 1, routine is paramount. Understanding your energy expenditure over time is important. Spending the time to create a routine so you know what's happening in the morning, in the evenings, at meal times, and anything else you can relatively plan out that's going to be a daily activity is going to help minimize the amount of mental effort that you're going to have to put into those tasks. And again, with practice, having that routine minimizes the amount of physical effort that you're going to have to put in as well. Tip number 2 is planning and to-do lists. If you're like me and you try to fit far too much into your day every single day, planners and to-do lists are a must. You can prioritize the things that must get done at the top of the to-do list and put things that are less important at the bottom of the to-do list. And sometimes those things migrate their way up the to-do list depending on what you're doing. Tip number 3 is one I need to take more advantage of, and that is planning for breaks. No one can work 12 hours straight without any breaks. No one can do everything in a single day. Everyone needs downtime, whether it's to recharge your brain, whether it's to rest your muscles, whether it's to just turn off for a little bit. Give yourself that luxury. It is not selfish. It is not indulgent. It is helping you last longer. Number 4, figure out your best productive time. For some people, it's early mornings. For some people, it's late evenings. For some people, it's the middle of the day after they've had a few hours to get up and eat. Figure out when that productive time is and plan your most important things in that productive time. For me, my most productive times are first thing in the morning and right before bed. The middle of the day is usually just a giant blur for me. So if something absolutely must get done, it happens right when I get up. If something is less important but still needs to get done, it happens right before bed. So recognizing those energy patterns in yourself, recognizing when you're feeling the most active and engaged is important to helping manage your fatigue. Space out your tasks, and that might mean space them out throughout the day with little breaks in between, or it may mean don't put too much on one day and space them out over the week or the month. Life is not a sprint, it's a marathon, and you're in it for the long haul. So it's not all going to happen in one day. Be at peace with that, and that leads into my next tip, which is manage your own expectations. If you, like me, are a rather type A individual, you have very high expectations of yourself, and you're very disappointed, anxious, and upset when you don't necessarily get everything done that you wanted to in any given day. Realize that your own expectations of yourself might have been too high, and that's fine. It's good to have high expectations, but it's better if you have those high expectations and you can recognize when you've done your best and it's time to put it away. My next tip is prioritizing. So the things that must get done first, and the things that are optional can wait a few days. Simplify your cooking. And that may mean different things to different people depending on their disability, their activity level, their lifestyle. For some who are financially able, it may mean getting a meal prep service. For some who are not financially able, it may mean cooking batched meals that you can either put in the fridge or freezer and eat all week long and only cook once. It may mean having snacks available to you throughout the day that are not full meals, but food that's available to you that you can just pick at as you need it. So finding ways to simplify that, creating that grocery list, sticking to your meal plan is going to go a long way in reducing the amount of effort you're putting into cooking. I try to cook once a week and have all of my meals ready to go, so all I'm doing is picking them up out of the fridge, reheating if necessary, and eating. It's a lot less energy and it's a lot less dishes. My next tip is automate and delegate whatever you can. There are a great many things that you can automate in your home, in your life, and there are other people around you that may be able to help you out with certain tasks. If you are living with a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a partner, if you have siblings or parents or children even, you are going to be able to help manage those tasks at an age-appropriate level. If you have kids that are 12 and 15, maybe they can start doing their own laundry. Or if you have a young child, maybe they can pick up their toys at the end of the day and that becomes part of the routine, so it's something that you don't have to do. Automation and using smart devices is also really helpful. In our house, I don't have to get up at the end of the night and walk around the house and turn off all the lights. I just tell Google to shut off all the lights. That's incredibly helpful because with my particular condition, that really helps because the act of laying down to standing up often results in me fainting. And it causes a lot of fatigue. So not having to go wandering around the house looking for every light that's on saves a lot of time and a lot of energy. And even if it's just saving that tiny little bit of energy, it adds up over time. My next tip is a fairly obvious one, and that would be eating well. If you're eating a lot of foods that are nutritionally void, a lot of simple carbohydrates, a lot of sugar, you're going to get a lot of ups and downs in your blood sugar, you're going to get a lot of ups and downs in your energy because your body is not going to be able to appropriately process it and give you that balanced energy over the long term. So whatever diet most suits your body or your body type, speak to your doctor, speak to your nutrition professionals about this, trying to find your complex carbohydrates, your good fats, your good proteins, so that you can manage your energy throughout the day is going to be vital and has made a tremendous difference in how I feel generally and how I'm able to work with my peaks and troughs of energy throughout the day to give me more than if I was eating things that might be easy but weren't good for me. My next tip is good sleep hygiene practices and creating a routine for your sleep and wake. And I mean that on just about every day. It doesn't matter whether it's a weekend or a work day, try and go to sleep at the same time, try and get up at the same time. I know life doesn't always agree with that, but it can go a long way in helping you have a standard cycle for your energy. If you're overslept, you're going to be exhausted all day. If you're underslept, you're going to be exhausted all day. And giving your body that routine really helps you get into an idea or a cycle of what is going to happen next and lets your brain and your subconscious turn off when you want it to. Hydrate. It's good for your body. It's good for your brain. Obviously, do everything in moderation, but it can absolutely help your energy levels. If you're dehydrated, you're going to be sluggish. You're going to feel a little foggy. So keeping your water levels up is really important, especially if you, like me, have POTS. Hydration is something that's really difficult to manage, and I need to drink a lot to help keep my blood pressure up, to help keep everything working the way it should. Managing your caffeine is the next one. I personally can't consume any caffeine, but for some people it really benefits them. It can really help vasoconstrict and raise their blood pressure and make them feel better, and for other people it can lead to a lot of energy crashes, which is what I get. So figuring out what caffeine balance works for you is important. The next tip is, again, fairly obvious, but reducing your stress. The less your brain is trying to actively work on a problem, the less you're hyperfixated on something and going over and over and over, the less energy you're actually spending. Whether you're moving or not, if your brain is active, you're spending energy. That can lead to fatigue. It's also important to recognize when you've done well and give yourself little rewards, whatever that might be for you. Whether it's taking an extra 15 minutes to read a book, being able to go and sit on the back porch, having a bubble bath, doing something that's a self-care activity, giving yourself a reward for doing a good job is fundamental to being able to keep your energy up, help you keep a positive mindset, help you work through problems, help you feel engaged with what you're doing, is all going to help your energy maintain for the long term. If you have a lot of energy crashes or you have a medical reason for your fatigue, smaller frequent meals can be really helpful. Your stomach is one of the few organs in your body that can actually take blood away from your brain. So there is an actual physiological reason for why some people get really sluggish and sleepy after meals. If you are asking your stomach to do a lot of digesting, your brain's probably not going to want to be very active. So smaller meals, less blood flow to the stomach, you're able to keep that nice and steady energy throughout the day. This one might be obvious to some people, but there are a lot of medical conditions that can cause fatigue. So managing those, if you have them, to the best of your ability, whether it's POTS or iron deficiency, anemia, thyroid issues, mental health conditions, whatever it might be for you, if you're able to find a good treatment plan with your medical professionals, it's again going to give you more quality of life and be able to do the things that you actually want to do. If you, like myself, have chronic fatigue, keeping an energy journal, which may sound a little bit strange, can be really beneficial because it can help you track if there are specific things in your life that might trigger an energy crash, if there are specific things that might take more spoons, so to speak. If you're not familiar with spoon theory, you can check out a video. I'll have it linked in the description. And it'll again help you pinpoint certain things that you can help space out your day a little better and create a routine that's going to help you do more with less. Dry shampoo and baby wipes. We don't always have energy to shower at the end of the day. That's fine. It's totally normal. If you're like me, you may not have energy to shower and you can only shower once every few days to once a week. If that's all you can manage, that's okay. So dry shampoo, baby wipes, trying to maintain your physical hygiene in whatever way works best for you and minimizes the amount of energy you have to expend is a good thing. So experiment and see what works best for you. For some people, gentle exercise can help. If you're chronically fatigued, for some people, it can be a massive trigger to making your fatigue significantly worse. So again, that's something to discuss with your healthcare provider to see if it's right for you, and you're going to be the best judge of your body as to whether that one's going to work for you. We're getting down to the end of the list now. Try and keep things close to where you're going to use them. So when I'm in my kitchen, everything I might need in a specific zone in my kitchen is within arm's reach, and if I can't be within arm's reach, it's within a couple of steps. So I'm not running all over the kitchen, using up all my energy moving around instead of doing the task that I need to do, which might be cooking. Again, that comes down to organization. As a blind person, organization is fundamental to my life actually working. As a fatigued person, it's even more important because then I don't have to think about where I left X, Y, or Z. It's just where it goes. Online shopping can be a fantastic tool if you're not able to get out to the shops. While I know it does have an environmental impact, it can be beneficial if you have no other way of getting that item and would otherwise go without. It's a great system and accessible for a lot of disabilities. And my final tip on this list is going to be minimize and downsize. If you are in a smaller space, it's going to be less work to upkeep. If you have less things, it's going to be less stuff that you have to put away and declutter and organize every day. It's less responsibility, it's less work. So if that's an option for you, it's something worth considering. Now, we've reached the end of my list. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I need to take some of my own advice and not overextend for a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Are there any tips or tricks for managing fatigue that I didn't mention that you think are worth talking about? By all means, please share those down below. I'd love to hear what works well for you. And are there things on this list that are supposed to be good for fatigue that do the opposite for you? People are built differently, so what works for one person may not work for another. As always, if you like content like this, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, engage down below or on any of my other social media accounts, and I will see you in the next video.